Good morning. Basa na tayo ng ating libro guys. History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 26 December 2022. History of the Filipino People Part 3. Reform and Revolution. Topic number 11. The Revolution Second Phase. Dito tayo sa paragraph Aguinaldo in Singapore. Aguinaldo in Singapore. As early as the middle of April 1898, rumor filtered from Manila and the provinces that the Spanish-American War was a matter of days or perhaps a few weeks away. Many of the rebel leaders stopped the revolutionary activities pending the determination of the truth of the rumor. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, Aguinaldo and his companions were following the trends of events on the other side of the Pacific. To them, it was an opportunity to oust the Spaniards from the Philippines. Oo, pero mo, 400 years ba naman eh. But there was a division in the ranks of the exiles that for Isabelo Artacho wanted the 400,000 pesos given to Aguinaldo to be divided among them. Aguinaldo refused and Artacho sued Aguinaldo in the Hong Kong Supreme Court. To avoid appearing in court, Aguinaldo, accompanied by Gregorio del Pilar and Jeliba, secretly left for Saigon, where he took another ship to Singapore. In the afternoon of his arrival, April 23, Howard Bray, an Englishman of long residence in the Philippines, contacted Aguinaldo and told him that the American Consul A. Spencer Pratt wanted to have an interview with him. In the course of the interview, Pratt persuaded Aguinaldo to cast his lot with the Americans, adding, "You need not have any worry about America. The American Congress and President have just made a solemn declaration declaiming any desire to possess Cuba and promising to leave the country to the Cubans after having driven away the Spaniards and pacified the country. Cuba is at our door, while the Philippines is 10,000 miles away." Aguinaldo expressed his eagerness to return to the Philippines, to lead once more the Filipinos in the fight against the Spaniards. Pratt cabled Dewey, who was then in Hong Kong, regarding Aguinaldo. Dewey answered, "Tell Aguinaldo come as soon as possible." Pratt arranged for Aguinaldo's departure, and on April 26, Aguinaldo and his two companions sailed for Hong Kong. Unfortunately, however, Dewey had already sailed for Manila Bay when Aguinaldo arrived. Aguinaldo and Consul Wildman. Aguinaldo was naturally disappointed upon finding that Dewey had already sailed for Manila. Nevertheless, the American consul at Hong Kong, Wildman, promptly met him and informed him that Dewey had left instruction for him to make arrangements for the return of Aguinaldo to the Philippines. In the succeeding conferences with Aguinaldo, Wildman suggested that upon his return to the Philippines, Aguinaldo should establish a dictatorial government which was necessary in the prosecution of the war against Spain. However, Wildman said after the war and after the peace had been restored, Aguinaldo should establish a government similar to that of the United States. Ulitin ko ha. However, Wildman said after the war and after the peace had been restored, Aguinaldo should establish a government similar to that of the United States. Preparatory to his return to the Philippines, Aguinaldo asked Wildman to purchase arms and ammunition for the Filipinos. He gave Wildman 50,000 pesos for 2,000 rifles and 200,000 rounds of ammunition. Ba't na mali-mali na ako ng basa nito? Before his departure, he gave Wildman 67,000 for another shipments of arms. Ang laki pala rin ng gastos ng natin sa arms pa lang. Before his departure, he gave Wildman 67,000 for another shipment of arms. With uncommon energy, Wildman took charge of the purchase of the needed arms and ammunition. The first arms shipment was consummated, but the second shipment, for which Aguinaldo gave him 67,000, was never realized, nor did Wildman return or account for the huge sum entrusted to him by Aguinaldo. Aguinaldo and the Hongkong Junta In the wake of Davis' victory, the Filipinos who composed the Hong Kong Junta met on May 4 to discuss the steps to be taken in the face of the new developments present during the deliberation. So, ibig sabihin pala guys, ulitin ko lang yung yung 67,000 na pang arms, parang hindi yata naibigay. Nakalagay nor did Wildman return or account for the huge sum entrusted to him by Aguinaldo. So, sayang yung 67,000 na yun. Aguinaldo and the Hong Kong Junta. In the wake of Davis' victory, the Filipinos who composed the Hong Kong Junta met on May 4 to discuss the steps to be taken in the face of the new developments. Present during the deliberations were Present during the deliberations were Felipe Agoncillo, temporary president, Doroteo Lopez, temporary secretary, Teodoro Santico, Anastasia Francisco, Mariana Leonera, Miguel Malvar, Andres Garcia Torrena, Severo Buenaventura, Maximo Cabigtig, Faustino Lechauco, and Antonio Montenegro. Agoncillo informed the committee of the arrival of Aguinaldo and suggested the temporary suspension of the meeting to give Aguinaldo and Gallicano a possibly time to enter the session hall. Once inside, Aguinaldo related his dealings with Pratt and Wildman. Since the situation in the Philippines, at tinitingnan ko yung oras. Since the situation in the Philippines Sorry guys, mali talaga ako nabasa. Okay, dito. Since the situation in the Philippines was critical, Aguinaldo asked the members of the junta to advise him on what to do. After an exchange of opinions, the junta unanimously decided that Aguinaldo should return to the Philippines to lead the Filipinos against the Spaniards. Aguinaldo returns. Aguinaldo was convinced of the wisdom of the junta's decision, and so he prepared for his return to the Philippines. On May 7, the new cutter McCulloch arrived in Hong Kong, but the master of the ship notified Aguinaldo that Dewey did not instruct him to take Aguinaldo aboard. On the revenue cutter's second return to Hong Kong, however, Aguinaldo was notified that Dewey had given instruction to the captain to have Aguinaldo return on board the McCulloch. Consul Wildman bukas na lang ito. Mahaba ko. Aguinaldo returns. Bukas na lang to guys. Bye everyone. God bless.